buddy.
It's Video Namaste.
Video Namaste.
It
Hello,
feels strange
Video Namaste.
not doing it in front of a camera.
I know.
Well, no one that's looking at my... I mean, I'm looking good today as well.
I look like shite.
No, but you smell amazing.
I do smell amazing.
I've got
And I'm not
this...
tell you my secret.
Does smell very good. My problem today is I've not done any washing in a while, so I'm wearing a sort of combination of clothes. So it's like all individually they're actually pretty nice, so I don't wear them that often. Like a nice shirt, a nice jumper, and a nice pair of jeans, but none of them go together. So
It's like Brian Bosworth's big mix. His big health shake that he has at the start. But it's alright, it's for the Komodo.
Stood in front of the cupboard in Poltergeist. Just try to catch stuff. Good on you as it goes this.
I just had a piece in custard.
So, hi everyone, welcome to Video Namaste.
Hi everybody.
We're back, baby.
In brand new audio podcast form.
Podcast.
Much softer.
Much maligned.
I'm fucking raging.
I'd rather all doing books, to be honest.
So we're here today. We're talking about winter warmers.
Yes.
Matter of fact, we're talking about some films, winter warmers, specifically films that aren't about Christmas, but you might watch at Christmas time.
Right. No, this is good. Keep that going, man.
Sustain
like
that intensity.
It's like watching a rapper freestyle. And he's on a roll.
So it's basically like winter warmers. It's ones that you sit and you watch, and they could be snowy themed, they could be like sort of wintry, autumny themed, but they're no like conventionally Christmas films as such.
Well, I've written a wee describer.
All right,
Right,
yeah, go for
just
it.
of what a winter warmer is, right? So, a winter warmer is a film latticed within nostalgia, comfort, and escapism. Latticed?
That's like the chips.
Like
Lattice like a festive bake from Greg's.
he's on it. He's back.
BLT.
The brand is returned.
Bacon and lattice.
It can come from any decade, but more often than not, it was on the telly during the run-up to Christmas when you were wee. Winter warmers aren't exclusively set in powdered vistas, but they always imbue that same magical spirit. And the levels of coziness you experience while absorbing it from a cocoon of duvets and giant socks, forget about it.
Forget about
Hey.
it. That's very nice, Danny.
Does that work?
I really like
Are
that.
you on board with that? Do you
That's
agree?
total
Winter
BBC Two
warmers.
ident kind of
Yeah.
Right, cool. That's what I was going for.
Getting
That was
ready. Bradley Walsh in the lottery. Oh man, we need to get some of the Christmassy idents up.
Aye.
Just want to see them. Like, that's real warmth.
Aye.
That's what my selection is.
My favourite was definitely mid-90s BBC Two.
Just 25 minutes of Christmassy idents.
Okay, what I do miss is the annual tradition of getting the TV guide,
Yeah.
the Christmas telly
Right.
guide.
So I even got in touch with. I never got Radio Times or anything like that when I was wee. We always got What's on TV. That was our
Right.
one, because you remember you had to get Radio Times for the BBC and then TV Times for STV Channel 4.
Was it?
Aye,
Really?
totally. Yeah,
What
yeah.
fucking
Aye.
disaster is that?
I know. So like, I was looking a bit for archival.
Was it free for TV listens, Piers?
What do you think?
Scum of the earth.
So I was looking online for specifically What's on TV. There's nothing. I even got in touch with What's on TV and I was like, any chance you've got like PDF saved or anything? They're like, no, nothing.
PDFs!
Aye, I know. I thought, how do I sound like an absolute embarrassment?
You got any microfiche? And also
Would you send me it on a
use the
zip
microfiche
disk?
on?
So she got back in touch. Sorry, no, you can go to like the British Library or something. They've got them on a binder there. I'm not fucking. Aye,
Fucking
exactly.
goes there intentionally.
Who goes there that isn't on a school trip?
But also imagine going into the fucking British Library. I'm looking for
I'm looking for Argos for 94.
Aye.
I want to look up Supervan City.
So, but I couldn't find any. Obviously, what's on TV. There's a few Radio Times, but apparently they binned a lot of the BBC archival stuff.
All right.
We'll not go into that.
Quite poor. Quite poor.
There is, however, an archive TV Times, right? So obviously it's only STV and Channel 4 that goes all the way up to 1989. And it was really interesting, like seeing what
What premieres at Christmas?
What premieres? Aye. And I forgot about. Do you remember seeing TVM next to a film description?
No.
So that meant that it had been cut for telly. So
Ah.
TV movie, right?
Right.
And it was basically anything that was like pre-Watershed but rated or certified like 15, 18, whatever, right? Although even sometimes after the Watershed, and that happened a lot with STV, I remember. Channel 4 were like, I fucking show anything, put a willy in that.
No, you don't get the Tadgers out. Just a revolving door and guy in the scud.
So I seen all that, and like if you want an idea of what we had growing up, which is like obviously this is a very, very specific thing to us because we're all of a similar age group, and everybody else like is going to have different winter warmers,
especially
depending
for
on what
like
they were exposed to growing up.
No
you know?
younger listeners, but maybe listeners like a generation behind them might
totally.
have different stuff on. But
Totally, even that difference of like 6-7 years is huge.
Aye.
You know, so like, but for us, we like what I'd like to do is just go through a couple of things on this TV Times archive, right? Just to give you an idea what the time's like. And through podcast magic, you'll be able to pause me looking for it.
oh yes, this is raw. This ain't getting
I know.
cut.
Thank fuck we're not live streaming this.
Mind that thing you used to do in TV guides? Am I remember this rightly? You'd have all your main channels, and then they'd have one column up the side that was just really dense for some of the satellite channels.
Aye, and you had
And
it for
radio
like
as well.
your
That's
Grampian TV and all that too.
Yep.
They had no descriptions. They just had like fucking the Matrix to look into. They just had pure code.
It's all Video Plus codes.
I was about to say, it's all Video Plus.
So you're looking at Video Plus codes. Women in a red dress.
I was going to say, some tutor's watching. See, your love's on at 7.
Oh fuck TVM. Only got you a bit of side tit. Just to give you an idea.
What the fuck's that?
Cannon and ball.
Jesus, suffering.
Yep.
The past was terrible, eh?
It was. Let's start with that. The fucking cover of this. Right. Okay. So I've got it here.
Oh, big Des.
Des O'Connor.
Des O'Connor.
Okay.
Whoops. Jimmy Hill.
There's a wee age gap here. So we've got the BFG on the cover.
Ooh.
The BFG was on every Christmas day.
Every Christmas.
I know.
swear it was.
Fucking hate it.
Aye.
It's like the Gruffalo now.
Aye.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Shit, I'd rather Mark Gruffalo. On to the next. We're out again.
And then just under the BFG, there's a wee headline that says Michael Aspel joins TV Times.
Imagine your Christmas guide curated by Michael Aspel.
So like it's pretty
Watching
cool, right?
College
So
Cook.
obviously you can just go through page by
That's
page.
jazzy. Is it issue?
Yeah, it's a full issue, right? So you've got inside this week. Obviously, there's a wee interview with Bette Midler, and Jesus Christ, Bette Midler's looking pretty tasty here. It's ruthless. It's ruthless people, Bette Midler.
Oh no.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, you didn't see Finley's face there. It's as if he just smelled a shit.
She just reminds me of like my mom's old hairdressing pals.
So you've
What's
got
the headline on it? Is it You Bet?
the best bet.
Ah, fuck. I was going to say.
Bet.
So you've got right. Guess what? There's one ad. Right. Okay. There's 3 adverts at the bottom of this article. Right, with Bette Midler.
Kenko.
No.
Maxwell House.
The English Riviera. Visit the right. Okay. So you've got an advert for Cliff Richard's new documentary, Rock on Cliff. How about no? There's Michael
Rock on
Aspel.
Cliff, was that the worst pun of all time or something?
Right, okay, so we've got your films in Granada. It's the best I can get. So on Christmas, on the 23rd of December 1989.
Oh, we're getting tasty.
Right, okay, so to give you an idea what was we were fucking subjected to, we had The Batman.
The Batman? What one?
So it was the TV series.
Okay.
But this is dated 1943. 1943, The Batman. It must have been anyway, half an hour long. Channel 4, followed by The Road to Zanzibar. Zanzibar.
In the jungles of Zanzibar.
And like, so there's quite a lot of obviously like the
Family
Christmas
Fortunes.
Carol and stuff like that. A film called Flood! ! Her Majesty's.
It better be his name and know what's happening.
And then there's obviously a fucking Bond film
Hey, what one?
on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Hey, it's a good one. George Lazenby gets married.
Thank fuck somebody took him. But this
It's
is
Christopher Nolan's favourite Bond film. You fucking heathen. You fucking maybe.
I remember,
take that title.
I remember that being no, I'm not saying specifically that year, but I remember that being on telly, and my stepdad walks into the room while I'm watching it. Oh, this is when he gets married and she gets fucking killed.
Thank you.
And then he stands and watches the scene. There you go.
Who is it that he marries? Is it not? Oh, it's good one for the Avengers, I think. Emma Peel.
No, she was in.
Is it not Emma Peel that he gets married to at the end of some Secret Service?
Yeah, do you know
Is
what?
it Emma Peel?
Keep getting it wrong because I love the idea of James Bond fans getting fucking raging at this.
Stop getting Bond wrong.
Yeah, totally aye. And was he not played? Was it?
Is it not Faye Dunaway? Is she Faye Dunaway's Odd Job? Just throws a wee ball at that.
Right, so Christmas Day 1989, the BFG, the Snowman, Down and Out in Beverly Hills.
Hey, you know something.
Obviously,
Beverly Hills Troop.
Raiders of the Lost Ark,
Aye.
Return of the Jedi, Danny Champion of the World.
No.
No, right. So this is the kind of thing that was on growing up. So as you can tell, it's not specifically just Christmas films.
Auntie's Bloomers has to be on there.
Fucking aye.
Oh,
No, this is just the film. So
It'll be all
aye.
right in the night. 7.
Oh, God.
Gets to the point where it's him doing his own bloopers on All Right in the Night.
She left me.
Can they show
They
the
can.
Tommy Cooper death on one of them?
They did not.
Nah, they didn't.
So like when I was thinking about like films that qualify as winter warmers, right?
Aye.
There's subcategories, right?
Aye.
So you've got fantasy,
Aye,
which is
okay.
like Excalibur, Krull, Dragon Slayer, Lady Hawk, Sword and the Sorcerer, all that.
Conan the Destroyer.
See, all the fantasy numbers, and then you've got like the classics, right? So like that might work for folk. Oh, no, it doesn't work for fucking me. But you've got Lawrence of Arabia, 10 Commandments, which I actually fucking love, Dr. Zhivago, all that.
Oh, aye.
Right, so you've got family films as well. Like again, 80s as fuck stuff. So it's like Harry and the Hendersons, Cocoon, Big, E.T., basically any Amblin.
Cocoon!
Aye.
Watching Cocoon, man!
Mum, don't come in. I'm watching Cocoon, and it's at an exciting bit.
Danny's locked his door. Danny's locked his door, he's watching Cocoon.
The boy loves Danny Aiello.
I like to think that the window washers seen you and went and chapped the door.
Oh, it's Brian Dennehy. Is it? I always get him mixed up. They're fuck all alike.
Is it not Courtney Cox Day?
Courtney Cox. Yeah, I think the Masters of the Universe.
No, she's in Cocoon.
No, she's not.
Courtney Cox is in Cocoon.
This is fucking James Bond all over again.
Courtney Cox.
She's Jaws.
Courtney Cox is in Cocoon, baby. Telling you.
And then you've got your adventures as well, right? So that's the big four: fantasy, classic, family, adventures. So like Raiders of the Lost Ark, Golden Child, Romance in the Stone.
I would throw in an extra fifth in there.
Oh, aye.
Which for me would be classic comedies.
Classic comedies.
See your kind of your Three Stooges. And
Right.
your,
Okay. Aye.
Your Harold Lloyds and your Buster Keatons and that.
What
Right
about-
in there.
What about your sort of ITV action films?
Such as
Go.
Hit Me.
I was like, I was sort of.
Lethal Weapon 3.
Well, you know, I was trying. Suddenly, all the ones that were coming to my head were like fucking Shane Black at Christmas, but
Aye.
you know that sort of stuff. You know, like your
Biggies.
Yeah.
Big lads.
Again, it's just that totally subjective thing. It is very, very, very much down to who you are and what you were exposed to growing up, and like I think nostalgia plays a big part of it. But like no strictly, I found as well there was a good few modern films that made the list. But again, because they kind of remind me of being young, or like Where the Wild Things Are was one I was going to talk about.
right.
But
The sort of things that's nice to watch sitting by a big gas heater.
So you want to go over briefly what we're going to talk about before we go into our first film.
I will do it each episode.
Right. Okay. Cool. So Richie, you're going to discuss.
I'm going to discuss a wee fantasy number. Am I doing the title now? Aye.
Yeah.
Well, it's in the fucking episode title anyway. So
Just got every episode redacted.
I'm going to do a wee fantasy number, because fantasy, I think, is the biggest one for me for the winter warmers, because all those kind of 80s fantasy jobs, they're very dreamlike, but they're also very kind of wet, and the sort of film that makes you happy to be indoors when you're watching it. Does that make sense? Like you want it to be cold outside and just appreciating it.
Very sort of condensation laden.
Exactly. Lots of mist and things like that.
Fog, dry ice.
Aye. Yeah. Big snowy mountains and that as well. So we're going to talk about Time Bandits.
Yeah.
Say, crikey. I mean, I've been in robbing for years, but I've never seen anything like this. Crammed. And you acquired all this by yourselves?
Well, it was a good day, Mr. Hood.
Jolly good day.
It's nice, isn't it?
Rather. Well, I mean, what can I say? Thank you all very, very much indeed.
Oh, don't mention... What?
Well, I mean, it's frightfully kind of you. The poor are going to be absolutely thrilled. Have you met them at all?
Who?
The poor?
The poor?
Oh, you must meet them. I just know you'll like them. Charming people. Of course, they haven't got 2 pennies to rub together, but then that's because they're poor.
It was difficult because there was a whole bunch, but like there's a bunch for me that I associate with this time of year that kind of feel like they've been overdone or talked to death. Like like your Labyrinths or your Dark Crystals or your Never-Ending Story, or you know what? But they all
I think
fall
that's
under that
something we're
same.
going to safely, just so everybody knows, we're not going to sit and tell you all about Back to the Future 2. You know? It's like, although it's absolutely that film and I fucking love it every Christmas time, but no, we're not going to. It is tough the way
specifically have to
find.
Exactly.
It's been killed to death.
Because this time of year really is about the absolute basic. Like, you're not watching a big heady kind of intellectual number.
You're not watching the Adjustment Bureau. Doors on the doors, lads.
So, but yeah, Time Bandits is definitely one of those films, I think, and it falls into all those categories. You got your fantasy. It's a bit cheap. It's all shot on locations, like in forests and wastelands and stuff like that. There's loads of like lovely misty, smoky shots that they've used. Like there's one thing that I miss from fantasy films that you don't get now because they've got CGI to use the computers to cover up the backdrops and paint out stuff. Whereas in the past, it's like, how do we hide that car park? Let's just fill the whole fucking shot with mist, and then nobody can see anything too far in the distance.
You could literally be filming this anywhere.
But it makes everything feel like a lovely, cozy dream. You know, and
that's a big thing with Terry Gilliams films in general. Even the grim stuff, I think there's like a nice dreamlike feel to it, and there's something almost tangible about the stuff too, because you can tell it is like handmade films aside. You can tell it's like there's a lot of care and attention and very little money in it. So it is, or you know that there's real hard work went into it.
That's like you and Richie mentioned about how little money it is, but see, when like I watched this week and it was the first time I'd actually ever seen it. Like, see the budget for it? It was like $5 million, which isn't a lot.
$5 million, which is like £2.5 million.
But like, see, when I was watching it, I was like, the budget for this must have been like, I was like, in my head I'm thinking like, this is the same budget as Dune or something like that. I was like, there's so many like matte paintings that merges in well with the sort of physical foreground that you're sitting there actually like staggered. Like a lot of the castle sets and stuff. You're like, this must have cost like $400 million to make.
Well, I think that's where like Terry Gilliams' skill as a director comes in, because he has such a clarity of vision in terms of what he's doing visually, that he's able to achieve that in that sense that you when you're probably on a film set and you're just doing what you're told, but you can't really figure out how everything fits together, and you got one man at the top who can see it so clearly that he can achieve what he wants, and it's all just about just daft little tricks like using
perspective shifts, etc.
Or just things like, you know, the giant.
Like
the giant is. I've heard him talking about the different methods he had to use, like the experimentation he did with just trying to make a giant look giant, and it was obviously just things like filming them at double speed and slowing it down, using a big wide angle lens,
Aye.
and then just again filling the fucking shot with smoke and all that sort of stuff, and it was just lovely and wet.
I see the like I've stuck on the commentary to this because like I've seen it a million times and it's not like, oh fuck, here we go, Time Bandits again. It's just like I thought, fuck it, I'll use this opportunity to listen to the commentary, and it's dead interesting. It's an interesting setup as well for the it's the Anchor Bay one I had, so I don't know if it's the same with the new Arrow re-release, but it's like there's a few folk involved. So the guy, the wee boy, he's involved, Michael Palin and Terry Gilliam, right? But they're not all in the same room. It's like it's basically Terry Gilliam until he can't be fucked, and then Michael Palin, like they cut, so they obviously intersperse different.
That's basically It's interesting because there's an interview with Gilliam on the Arrow one, and he talks about that. He could sort of the relationship between Gilliam's writing and Palin's writing is that Gilliam just had this mad visual idea, and he was like, and he sort of, he creates this thread all the way through it where he can. He just has all these big mad setups and he can come up with the scenes and the situations and stuff. And then Palin comes in and fleshes out the characters, writes all the funny stuff and, does all of that. And it's sort of just a lovely wee balance.
He said that he just showed up to his house one afternoon.
Yeah.
How amazing is that? And it's cause like he was getting really fucked off with Brazil, not getting lit, off the ground. And
basically Handmade were like, when the guy, we'll talk about it a few times, Dennis O'Brien, who was managing Handmade Films at the time, just didn't get Brazil at all. I kept trying to explain to him, he's like, he apparently just wasn't on board with it at all, so he just got really frustrated. And like you said, he turned up at Palin's house. I think like there's a Palin interview he talks about as well. It's like, it's just about 1979, he just turned up at my house with a 2-page synopsis and asked me if I wanted to make it, wanted to help him write it.
Aye,
Palin in it is so fucking good.
He's good.
Could you love a man with this thing on his nose? So good. Do you want to say just a brief overview of the plot?
Oh, the plot? Yeah, I suppose we should.
Just in case Andy's not seen it.
So Time Bandits is it's funny because we talked about Brazil a couple of Christmases ago, but Time Bandits is what Terry Gilliam would describe as the first entry into his Imagination trilogy.
Yes.
The second one being Brazil, the third one being Baron Munchausen, and it's each film. Baron Munchausen is an old man, Terry Gilliam's a man in his middle of his life, and Time Bandits is the kid. But it's a story of a kid who ends up, he meets a bunch of dwarfs who have stolen a map from the Supreme Being to the universe, and they're using it to time travel and rob from people, basically. And they're absolutely terrible at it. But it's like
they're fucking good at
that. They're pretty good at it, but they keep losing everything that
aye.
But so it's about a wee boy who lives like, I think it's quite interesting. The theme again that comes up is at the beginning. It establishes is you've got this house in this very suburban area, these sort of new build houses, I guess they would have been at the time. And it establishes the kid at home and the mum and dad on the fucking plastic wrap couches, and they're absolutely obsessed with
like commodities,
material possessions,
and basically
TV.
The technology. Basically, it's all about technology again. Like it's sort of followed on. Well, I guess it would have followed on from Brazil because he was thinking about it beforehand. But and this kid Kevin is like sort of obsessed with history, and he's just got a wild kind of imagination and
it's more
love
intellectual as well.
Yeah,
he reads, they watch TV,
basically.
and he's
plus it's quite weird because it's like his mom and dad didn't like him studying.
Totally.
They're like, what?
I know, and it's and I guess it's kind of Kevin obviously represents that childlike wonder that disappears as you get older. But yeah, there's a sort of that, obviously that half kind of suggestion that basically these the Time Bandits kind of fall out of his cupboard in his bedroom, and then they end up running away from the Supreme Being, who also appears in the bedroom, and then they end up they go on the adventure.
That's fucking amazing. See, what I noticed, obviously we're going to be talking spoilers on this. So but what I noticed the second time I watched it this week was, see, just before the horse bursts through the wardrobe in the room, you can hear a fire engine.
I only noticed that last time as well.
I watched it, I was like, oh man, that's amazing. So it's like essentially like it sort of bookends what happens in his fantasy. I was like, that's amazing,
it's
man.
really nice. There's another great thing about the bedroom set as well, is like seeing all of the drawings and the pictures and the hints.
Yeah,
of,
and robots on the floor and things like that. Yeah, all the toys.
the drawings of the
Medieval toys
cowboys
and stuff,
and obviously when it comes to the fortress of what was it called?
I can't mind. It's
Ultimate
like
Evil or something like that.
Aye.
Basically, David Warner's fortress is like you can
Tiny
see
Legends and all that.
Lego bricks and all that sort of stuff about the castle. So
I know it's like it's a really really clearly thought out storyline that you know with like you can feel that was an important part of the pitch as well. Like we've honestly we've got we know what we're doing. Please go with us. I think it was actually I think it might have been this film where some of the crew members and that were like, what the fuck is this guy on? And then at the premiere he was approached by someone and said, right, I get it now, well done. It
there's
actually worked.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
So it's folk like, sure I'll do it, but
that's what got me. That's what got me thinking about this sort of whole clarity of vision thing. It's like you realise how much that's needed, and if you've ever been on the set of anything that's been made, no matter how small, like sometimes you are just following your nose in terms of getting a shot down and not having a single clue how it all fits together, and then suddenly you look at the end product, you're like, oh,
it's quite good.
I'm doing a bit right. And I think that's got to be heavy what was going on there, because like
I will see that first sort of 5 minutes of it when it's like the horse bursts through the wardrobe. And then it turns for him looking at his bed, and it's like he's in a forest. And then they come out the cupboard, and he shines the light on him, and they think that he's a supreme being. And they're like, sorry, wait. We're just only borrowing it. He's like, hold on a minute. He's no god. And then they do that thing where it's like the wall pushes through.
Yeah.
And it's like a big long hall. I was
so it's like they're looking for something in the bedroom, and then they lean against one of the bedroom walls, and it pushes back, and then they keep pushing it. That's one of those sort of beautiful kind of kids film moments, isn't it, where it's like it's turning your setting, it's turning what you recognise from life into some mad
and what you want it to be.
That's one of the lovely things about like any kind of fantasy like that. It's like using something that you know and turning it into something. I think it's the best stuff for kids, because you can just imagine pushing your bedroom wall. It's such it's like somewhat of a dream as well. It's just like,
and plus them all pushing it when they're like we'll go on free, and he's like one, and they'll push. He's like nobody goes on one. But they push it through, and it's like it ends up falling. The full wall just falls into like a gap in space, and they all fall through. I was like, it's so good, man.
They're such a great wee team as well, aren't they? Because it's like, so obviously the decision to have a cast of dwarfs is because they have a kid as a main character. So they basically wanted people that were kind of
similar height,
basically.
And like Terry Gilliams said, he hates kids films and he hates kid actors, right? So he's like, what'll I do? We'll just get in. We'll get in little people that they can basically band about with, and out of that, like, comes the fucking Time Bandits. That's pretty amazing. Like thinking about practicality, and like this is a business move for him. Basically, I want to make a film like Brazil, but I'm not going to make it unless I've got some bank behind me or something. So he gets George Harrison to refinance his office to fund the film, and then when they start making the film, he's just like, obviously off the cuff, like thinking about it. I love amazing imagination that goes into it, and you can tell that like it's very 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 rare that like that you have a person's imagination perfectly put on screen. It's fascinating seeing that. Such a big huge achievement. Good on Terry. Good on old Terry.
Like the whole like the story of handmade films and everything as well. It's like, it's so lovely. I love this idea of rock stars funding films. It goes back to Life of Brian, because wasn't Handmade basically put together to fund Life of Brian? Because they made Holy Grail with nothing, because that was Terry Gilliam and Terry Jones split the directing duties on that, and then they couldn't get the money for Life of Brian because nobody would touch it, and then George Harrison and
Robert Plant.
Was it Robert Plant?
Big Rab.
Big Rab. Big curly Rab.
They were just like
short and curly Rab.
It's like, mate, we're rich as fuck, we'll just pay for it.
I've got a plane.
No,
make it on the plane. We'll be local in Acapulco.
I'm just like, I love that, because it's just like,
that's what they should be doing. The fucking shysters.
I guess it's like, obviously the whole Monty Python connection carried it. quite a long.
Yep.
I mean, when I think about actually the very first time I watched Time Bandits, I was reading a TV listing for it was on Channel 4 late one night, and I had to tape it. But it was the fucking, they mentioned Monty Python in the TV guide, and I was like, Monty Python fantasy film. I was like, oh yeah, I'll definitely give that a watch. And obviously it was way more, but then yeah. So the Monty Python connection was a big part in getting it sort of funded, and because again, so the manager who was a producer, Dennis O'Brien at Handmade Films, was pushing to get as many pythons in the film as possible. So like when Michael Palin wrote it, he wrote himself in as Robin Hood.
Oh yeah.
And obviously they ended up with John Cleese, who obviously did it really, really well. And but that's
his part in line, so good.
I know, man.
What awful people. my favourite line out that whole Robin Hood section is, "Say good morning, you scum."
So good.
I also like when he's like, "How long have you been a bandit for? How long have you been a bandit for? Oh, 4'1", 4'1".
It's the pauses. Marvellous. They're
They're gonna be considerably less poor. He's really good in it, man.
So yeah, Michael Palin's character is just basically written in because Michael Palin needed a character to play.
Aye.
So
him and Shelley Duvall in the Robin Hood one's really good too.
Yeah.
It's happening again.
Have you heard the story about Shelley Duvall during the rehearsals?
No.
Fucking Terry Gilliams trying to explain to them how.
She's an
Because
old duck, like,
they fall, you know how they come out, they fall into the carriage.
Aye.
Like, so basically the characters, they fall into a hole in time and they fall at the sky and land in the carriage with Shelley Duvall and Michael Palin. And fucking Terry Gilliams trying to explain this in the rehearsal by acting it out. And he fucking lands on
No, it's not. When he falls through the top, she's wearing that kind of horned headdress, and like he said, like a part of his jeans or something caught in it, and she fucking got yanked.
Oh, is that what?
I totally. It's like, and I almost broke Shelley.
I was going to say she's like total porcelain, man.
Exactly, yeah, and she's like about 20% neck as well. So like,
Hi, I'm Shelley Duvall. Hi, I'm Shelley Duvall. Hi, I'm Shelley Duvall. So good.
I know, eating like a giraffe.
But I suppose like Time Bandits is one of those films that's structured in a way that you can easily get big name actors in it, and they only have to appear for probably a couple of days of the shoot.
It would have really suited a shooting schedule for that. It's a good history lesson to a point. Like, you've got your Titanics, your Grecian times, but then it's no one like Bill and Ted as well. Kind of Bill and Ted's like a history lesson but fun. Time Bandits is kind of like that, but it's like a history lesson but weird.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Led by a clan of wee arseholes. Frankly,
I love it, man.
I know, it's so good. Like that's another part that adds to the nostalgia, because it's not that often that you get a group of protagonists that are dicks. Like these guys are thieves, liars, and like they steal this wee boy away. Basically, well, they
fucking eat everything. Like see at the table at Napoleon's table, and they're like just sitting, putting like spoons up their sleeve and like waving and that, and then eating a candle. It's like a wee dicks, man.
And they're horrible to each other as well. It's like it's so funny. Like,
it's good, man.
No, it's the constant like. It's one of those things. It's like, to make something look that shambolic, but it actually works, takes so much.
Actual focus.
I know, and it's fucking I love it for that. I love that. Yeah, no, I love the Napoleon bit at the beginning. And what was it?
Ian Holm. Oh man, see Ian Holm's like sad raging face. Holy fuck, he's so good, man. He's like happy.
He wanted to do more comedic roles, but he just wasn't getting them because like he was kind of pigeonholed as that serious guy for Alien, and like he just couldn't get them.
Of course, that'd be right.
That.
Shortly after Alien.
Yeah, totally. Aye.
Christ.
Ken, who also liked in Napoleon Times Day? The guy who runs the show.
I was about to say Charles
McKeown. Aye, because like he's amazing. Like the laddie that shares the desk with in Brazil. That's who, isn't it? because he's
he's
so good at being like distressed.
He's
on
one of those,
edge.
He's one of those actors that always turns up in like old BBC sitcoms and stuff. You're like, yes, it's him.
He's great, man. He's just funny as anything. It's like he's about to hang himself and like the
Aye.
curtain draws and all that. It's like
It's just the way that he moves the gun to his head is
and then he looks away at him coming up and he's like, oh man, fine time. He's great at being distressed and all like weird about it. It's fucking
the
funny,
stuff
man.
I love about all that as well, like that again, that kind of shambolic look where everything's just a mess, but the way Gilliam shoots it.
It looks like, that's what I'm saying, it looks like it goes for everything. It's like all the
he
money
gets-
went into that.
Aye. Like I think that was a castle in Wales.
Aye. It looks
It's like
fucking
apparently they
amazing.
were making like decisions on set about things like, do you know how they sneak in the boat?
Aye.
Like they literally just made that decision because there was a
Oh,
river.
it looks amazing.
I know, because they were apparently they were originally meant to come in horses, but it's like there was lots of that stuff going on. They just turn up and they'd be like, that'll be good, let's do that,
Yeah.
and I just
And they
just love it.
shot all the close-ups of that scene on the boat as well. And was it in a tiny wee room?
Was it?
Aye. So
Like St. Kent's fucking gym hall.
I like Wesleyan Library.
He's just scanning all the communion wafers in the background. Aye, and then after your Robin Hood things, we've got the first encounter of evil, aka
Oh man.
David Warner.
God isn't interested in technology. He knows nothing of the potential of the microchip or the silicon revolution. Look how he spends his time. 43 species of parrots. Nipples for men. Slugs. Slugs! He created slugs. They can't hear, they can't speak, they can't operate machinery. I mean, are we not in the hands of a lunatic? Sir, look! If I were creating a world, I wouldn't mess about with butterflies and daffodils. I would have started with lasers. 8 o'clock, day one. Sorry.
He's so
So
good.
So good.
David Warner's best role, I think, definitely.
Oh my
I
god.
just found out recently that he was originally cast as Freddy Krueger.
And then they must have went on to do waxwork after.
Was that? Aye, that up.
Bloody hell.
That would have been dreadful.
Aye,
That'd have been fucking
would have
shocking.
been. Aye. So he got as far as getting the jumper on and everything, and
Wow.
he just wasn't up for. Wes Craven just
Gilliam
wasn't up for him.
Wow.
So aye.
He's very different.
Imagine him in Dream Warriors and that. Imagine him getting into the Rockstar Freddy stuff.
Jesus, you wouldn't have heard that.
No.
You would have probably left. It would have been like James Bond. Imagine that, a different Freddy every time. Who's your favourite Freddy?
It's Alan Cumming.
Jack Lemmon. Nervous Freddy. Can I kill you? Can I kill you now?
Are you sleeping yet?
On the Arrow, there's this dreadful looking interview with David Warner, but
What's
he
dreadful looking about it?
just the framing. It's like basically they filmed it so it looks like the camera's practically on the floor looking up at him, and he's wearing a blue shirt and a pair of jeans, and his mic wire is hanging down over his shirt, and like. But also they have to tidied up the space, so there's like a tenor sitting on the.
A rolly.
There's a tenor like sitting in like just a pile of magazines or something.
His pin code.
I know that is
Hey.
rotten.
In the interview, the one thing that you mentioned that was quite interesting was that he reckoned that Terry Gilliam wanted Jonathan Pryce,
Oh, right.
but he just wasn't available.
David Warner.
But just as definitely just as his
Never talk to me like that again. Blows a guy up.
It's like yeah. Excellent question.
I was like, but you're still here, my lord. Blows him up. He's like, excellent question. Fucking did.
I know it's the what was it? It's the delivery of the line 43 species of parrot. Nipples
good.
for men.
Nipples for men.
It's like, how is it? I wouldn't have bothered with any of that. It would have been lasers. Day 1, 8 o'clock.
That was fucking amazing. It's your time to die.
Lasers.
Oh, wonderful, Lord. Wonderful. That's so good.
I know.
But that's like the thing about Evil Tay is the first thing that he mentions is VCRs and computers and telephones. He's like,
Digital. You know, it's really funny. It's like round about that time as well. Like Hitchhiker's Guide was making the same joke about digital watches. It's like digital watches.
Oh, shit.
I mean, I wasn't obviously none of us were there for that, but digital watches must have been fucking
massive.
It must have been the iPhone at the time.
Let me tell you.
Danny's wearing one.
Danny just pulled back his sleeve to
And to
reveal a
reveal a
digital.
Casio F91W.
Can it change the telly
To
channel?
tell that, yeah.
Oh, nice.
It was a class, man.
The backlight is fucking rotten.
It's just a light at the side.
Yep.
Like, ooh.
yep. Aye, well, that's obviously a big theme of the film. Is like, not watches.
Poorly lit watches.
Is like material possessions and how they can define your life, and that's the like in this film that's the root of evil, and like overcoming that is can be achieved by just opening your mind, using your imagination, and I think that's a really good message to send.
Yeah.
Because at that time, I think there was a lot of focus on material possessions and
Oh my God.
winning
100%,
things,
man.
and like you know the big
Littlewood's catalogues and
80s,
that.
like what would you call it? Like
Oh, it was just kicking off.
it's
like,
all
oh,
big tits, big guns,
Aye.
you know,
It's
and it's all microwaves, get your fucking
Just
shoes.
excess, consumerism, yuppies, all your
80s
sort of-
excess, that's it.
yeah,
That's
it,
the
man.
one. So like, there's tons of that going on. It's a nicer version to that, and it's
Aye.
teaching Wayne's that, you know what, if you
History's cool, man.
Aye, that's interesting.
No
If you
agree.
don't agree, I'll blow up your mum and dad.
They blow themselves up, and you bastards.
Aye.
And then for evil, you go straight on to the Greek times.
Yep.
With
Aye.
Sean Connery, who looks genuinely happy to be there. Like, he kept smiling, and I was like, that's a real smile. That's rare.
He was again. I bet I think that was probably the Python connection. But like, did you hear the story about? You must have this in the Anchor Bay one. But this how this original script said, Agamemnon takes his helmet off, and he is
To reveal a Sean Connery like actor.
or someone of equal expensive stature or something like that.
And he came in, he done it for pretty much buttons. It's like an odd good thing that
I think he
old
did
cunt
like like obviously he probably didn't. He only did I think he did 14 days actually. But apparently he helped and everything with because the fight scene with the Minotaur and Kevin was day one of the of the shoot, but it was day one for the kid as well.
Yep.
And did you hear? That's another thing. The story about they brought in the kid's brother, and the kid that plays Kevin was there in the room, and like the kid's brother was like just playing up and doing the audition and everything, and Terry Gilliams was like, I want your brother. He must have been raging.
Oh my God.
apparently they still like during that Anchor Bay commentary, the guy's like, he's still not happy about that.
Imagine me and Danny were like, we want Franco to David and Namaste.
And Richard Givers, your brother.
Aye.
Fine.
Oh, keep him on.
Hovermaid's not even that good. I think, see the Greek bit. The Greek bit's probably like my least favourite bit of the film. I think
It's like Sean Connery.
no, it just feels a wee bit like kind of slower, and
Aye.
like it's all about like him Kevin wanting to stay there, and like that's his new da or whatever. Like he's got that, but it just feels a wee bit like kind of sticky, and like all the humour that's came for that first sort of half hour just almost dies as soon as it gets to that. Then it picks
Aye.
right up after it. It's like
Yeah, when they arrive and aye.
it's still a
it
great
does have
bit.
that amazing like I don't
see
mean,
that Minotaur outfit, like
Aye,
the heat and that.
it's great,
Oh
man.
my God,
It's really
that's
brutal
that's
as well.
amazing.
It's so sticky and
Aye. It's all like rotten and
When
it's
they chop the big boar in half and all the fruit comes out.
awesome. That's great, eh? And I like their like sort of costumes.
Aye.
Like because they're essentially Muppet Man, their costumes. And then,
That's
there's like the best. I think the best disappearance of Time Bandits is like when they're kidding on that they're all just going to like do a wee magic trick, and like there's this amazing like shot of Sean Connery smiling like after they all disappear, and then he realises that they have actually
Just
fucked
fucked
off,
off.
and his face drops, and it's fucking. It's
I was
good.
gonna say like I do love how they hold on. They just keep there for a wee bit longer, just so everyone's like, oh, what?
In that commentary, actually, Gilliam's like, you can't really tell on VHS. You can tell on Laserdisc though.
oh yeah.
Aye.
Also, I just realised, like, I don't know if you'll hear it if you rewind 10 seconds, but I just went. I don't know if I picked it up, but I heard myself and I was like, you fucking sound like an idiot.
But, like, I guess the whole sort of I guess a big message of it is how the kind of creeping in of technology and possessions is like stunting the human imagination a little bit.
Yeah, that's a more
Which is
articulate
kind
way
of-
of saying what I was trying to say. About
Yeah, no, like, which obviously, interestingly, I think if Gilliam was still in his prime now, would be doing it fucking even more. I guess the Zero Theorem was a wee bit about that, but
Oh fuck, mind that.
I
Jesus, I went to the pictures the day that came out.
watched,
Quite cool.
What did you watch?
and so I guess that's like Kevin wanting to stay there is like getting as far away from that.
Aye,
as
because he just
possible.
doesn't connect with that thing that his parents are, which is like wanting everything better than the Joneses. Essentially, it is
Yeah.
that thing. Because
Yeah.
his mom mentions it. It's like their microwave can cook beef bourguignon for an ice cube to beef bourguignon in 8 seconds or something.
Aye.
She's like, pretty
Yeah,
good
yeah.
that. It's like, he doesn't give a shit, man. He just wants to play with cowboys.
The wee TV show with Jim Broadbent in it as well.
That's pretty good. Guess the name of celebrity, and it's a guy hanging out of Vati Costa. What the fuck was that? It's good, man.
Well, it's like hints of like, again, it's all but like you could see that
Sketchy.
carrying over into like Meaning of Life was after that, wasn't it?
What
Meaning of Life
man.
was 83, I think.
Aye.
What was Time
I'm certain it
Bandits?
was.
81.
One. Was it? Fuck, I thought it was about 84.
No,
I should really do my research when I come on this podcast.
Brazil might be. It might have been Brazil. Might have been mid 80s, I think.
Aye, that
I
was
can't
like
remember.
85, 86, wasn't
Aye.
it? Surely.
I think so. Aye.
Anyway, so in terms of Winter Warmers, I'm guessing this is something you watched a lot when you were wee. And was
aye.
it? And obviously, like for me as well, it was
it
obviously
taped
on at
off-
Christmas time.
Taped off the telly.
Aye,
Yes, lovely.
So this has been a part of your life since you were a wee boy. Then this film.
Aye, not wee, but definitely kind of early teens.
Oh, aye.
When I'm sort of starting to explore films a wee bit more, basically.
And
'Cause
yourself?
it's like, and myself. Because obviously there's like,
You know, chug to Time Bandits.
but like
heat.
the whole
Shirley Duvall's neck.
like obviously the first part of your life is only what your parents will show you. And my parents have got fucking terrible
Alright, you
taste.
can find it.
So it's like then it becomes your own.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you form your
Your
own.
world of discovery.
Yeah.
When you're allowed to watch the telly in a room on your own.
Aye.
It's like, oh, you're fucking.
I know, but that's nuts thinking back to that. Like when that first happened, I'm like, I've got my own telly.
I know.
Straight on to Eurotrash.
Straight onto Exotica or Erotica. And Eurocrash. I never had a telly in my room till I was about 13.
I think I was the same.
Like, my mum just wasn't hot on it. Like, we had the one telly downstairs and that was it. I had a telly in my room at my
I got
grand's.
this will make you antisocial thing,
Aye.
and right enough it did.
Aye, no, as soon as I had the telly in my room, I was like, you will
Bye.
never see me again.
I know.
It was good, man. Aye, so after the Greek times, we've got the Titanic.
Oh,
That's
right.
that's my favourite Michael Palin. Like
I've got the quote here. I love the ocean. She's so damn wet.
you can tell he's having an absolute ball there. As well. It's so good.
Aye.
Aye. No, the obviously the Titanic bit's short lived, but see when they're in the it kind of goes quickly into the time
Time of
Legends. And that sequence where it goes negative and they're all
Oh, see that bass, that.
oh, so nice.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yep.
And I like the wee touch that their suits are.
Gone
I
white.
went from black and white to white
Aye.
and black. It's just so good.
Aye. But then but yeah, when he gets into the Time of Legend stuff, that's when you start to feel like ooh, the proper fantasy.
Aye. The big castles and.
I love that they managed to we get the time travel stuff and then we'll just sort of establish that the Time of Legends is something that existed. And we've got ogres and giants. And,
I was going to say the ogre with the bad back
Aye.
is so good.
I know.
He's got an amazing line in it too. And it's like, I can really cough again.
Yeah.
And he like blows the boat away.
Aye.
They were saying that the giant that they had initially was just this really tall guy.
Oh,
and they
right.
filmed him and they're like they had no weight to him. He didn't
Oh,
seem
yeah,
giant. It was
that's
just
right,
like
yeah.
filmed him. He was just skinny. So they got this guy in. It was a wrestler who they ended up with. And he's like, you want someone big so that when you ramp it down, there's a lot of skin and muscle and
And it
fat
just
moving.
Wiggle.
Uh-huh.
It's so good.
Aye,
and
and
there's
it-
like
and
the
it's
ground
very-
kind of. I don't know if they're on a set. I think no, it will be a set. But there's a sort of shake to the ground when he
Yep.
walks as well. It's
And
lovely.
that wee tiny house with the wee,
Aye.
the wee tiny
But
people
that's such a
arguing.
great wee moment. It's obviously just a let's just slip this. It's the wee when the foot comes down the house. It's so good.
Now here's the thing.
Uh-huh.
See, the giant Do you think the boat was already on his
See,
head?
I'd never thought about this until last time I watched it, and it's like I always just like the boat was on his
I
head.
never even considered
Do you think
it otherwise.
he crashed into it and it just was on his head, or do you think it was already a part of his head?
I always just presumed it was his hat and he was just walking the ocean.
See, I thought that as well, but then I was like, it was the cough, and I'm like, wait a minute, if he's coughing and blowing the boat, then that means that the boat can sail, which means.
But then again, he literally he takes it off
like a hat.
Like he takes it off like a hat and puts it down, so it's like.
Aye, he's familiar with because there's no shock when he takes it off either. It's like the first.
Aye. No, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that giant's kicking about the sea with a
boat on his head.
I'm fine with that. I'm alright with that.
Aye, that bit's great. Like, I like his makeup on his body and all that.
It's really
he's
cool.
it's really cool.
Aye.
It's just that wee extra touch where you're like, this feels like a completely different world. Like, see if it was just like a big laddie. There you go. But it's actually like he's got like all these like sort of like ancient markings on him and sort of that. It looks great.
And again, it's like just using it's that thing that I love in those old fantasy films where it's like, let's just find an area that's just barren. Or it's like it's always a bit shit. Like if they did that now, they'd be doing some mad shit to it.
Yeah.
But it's just like a big stony, empty.
Was that the bit with the glass barrier?
Aye. I love that shit so much. Like, it just, it feels alien. It feels alien, but it's also like it feels like it exists. Like, you know, the sort of times when you find yourself in places like that, you suddenly feel like I feel like I'm in a fantasy film.
Again, it's kind of like
really nice.
that Spice Girls video. That I'm giving you everything one. The one where they're throwing the boomerangs and that. That's kind of like that.
You know what?
Terry Gilliams directed that.
You're onto something.
At last I can really cough. I was like, absolutely. Also, that guy at the Ogre's Wife's the Moth of Brazil.
Is that? So, yep, aye.
So it is.
There you go.
Apparently she was some big celeb. She was in like a bunch of soap operas at the time.
I can tell she was a total like kind of probably like a TV babe back in her day.
Right, aye. So he was saying that when she was coming up to set that day, there was folks stopping outside the car to like look in and stuff like that, and this was completely alien. And like apparently her agent was very, very reluctant to let her do that role because it was so away and detached from. But the main reason they got her in was to get a bit more pull and things, you know.
That's funny. When I'm just going to bring this up again, but the time that I interviewed Terry Gilliams, there was a lot of security issues going on, and it was at the Blytheswood in Glasgow.
Oh, right, okay.
And as I was carrying. Was Owen with me? I think Owen was with me, and he was. And I was. We were carrying the kit, and this fucking car pulls up, and it's clearly like two, paparazzi.
Parappa
the Rapsies. A couple of paps.
couple of papas. couple of pops.
And the guy leaned out his car. Was like, "You just been interviewing Terry Gilliams, aye?" And I was like,
"Fuck you."
I know. I just went. I didn't know what to do. I went, "No." I was like,
"Who's Terry Gilliams?"
No.
No, I just went in for a shite. Imagine got to toilet and Terry Gilliams there. You'd be like, oh my god. He's going to ask me for a fiver.
Man.
Right, and
so
then we get onto the castle.
The castle, aye.
The big castle with the game show maze.
Aye.
And his mom and dad like the
this is my favourite bit of the film.
The cages.
See when
that's amazing. Right, and I was convinced. I was like, right, if all that stuff for the film is in his room at the end, see that thing for the cages, that's like basically like a maths problem for his homework,
right?
Because that's what it feels like, because it's like one of them swings out, then the other one swings out again, and then he swings out and he gives him the full rope, and it's like that seems like a sort of like a maths problem.
Do you know what the nice thing about that as well is it's a clever escape plan.
Really,
like when
clever.
you see just like a really clever escape plan, you're like, fuck, that's good.
It's not just like, how are we going to kick fuck out this wall?
Aye.
Sorry,
what you were going to say? Your favourite?
See this whole sequence, like leading up to that maze and bringing everything back to reality is fucking spot on. So it's like, how do you end a story like that? You know what I mean? And you basically, you're either going to kill everybody and somebody's got to wake up,
Aye.
or like, but the way the maze kind of leads back into reality, and you've got this set up a fake kitchen, alternate universe fake kitchen.
Oh yeah.
You know, like just the way that everything bleeds back into reality, so that it's not too jarring when like, the viewer just jumps straight back in.
That's the kitchen
like
that he's mossing on the telly.
Yep, I had the dream kitchen at the start that's advertised. That's her goal, you know, and he's trapped in that goal. It's so good.
And yet again, there's a wee maze.
Yeah,
There's a wee maze.
Wee maze.
So I think it's all wee problems for his wee homework.
Aye,
a wee
aye.
maze and a wee maths
Yeah,
problem
that's
for cages, eh?
Also, again, Kevin's...
I'm clever too, by the way. Get a wee biscuit, I'm clever.
But like Kevin's absolutely not drawn in by the
By the flashiness.
again,
No, he can see saying to them like, no, dinny, and then it's like they hand her the map. Is the map just called the map, or is it like the map of? Is it just the map? I wasn't thinking if it was like the map of time or whatever.
It's the map.
The
The DVD I bought of it years ago had a map in it.
Yeah,
I wish
I've got that.
Oh, that's
I remember what I did
amazing.
with it.
That's the Anchor Bay one.
Aye.
You got the map with it. Yep.
Aye.
I like it. I see Evil's shape, like kind of shape shifting skeleton guys in cloaks.
Oh yeah.
That's very Brazil.
Yeah.
That's very like the kind of the things. And his fantasy in Brazil, Ken, the things with the humpbacks and the kind of baby faces.
Oh yeah, aye,
that's
it's
very
probably the same.
It's very much that
same
kind
idea.
of feel, you know. I like that a lot, man.
Yeah.
And then he blows up a dog. No, he blows up a dog and says, "I'm a reasonable man."
There's not many films where the dog gets it like that, and Dead Cam are the only two I can think of off the top of my head. In fact, sorry for folk that have not seen Dead Cam yet, but the fuck have you been?
Living a good life.
I'm between that and the Phantom, for fuck's sake.
This is the point where it starts to all like kind of reveal itself, like the castle being like Lego. Big Lego bits there, and like you've got a big folded chessboard look like into the distance and all that. That's when it starts to reveal itself.
It's like, but it's weird. It's almost as if, and I don't know if this was intentional, but it's almost as if that reality's starting to fall apart as well. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you know, he's his own has been broken, and then like, you know, this fantasy that he's in is starting to break up before he gets into real life.
Cowboys and all that.
Aye,
Cowboys
totally.
coming in and
like,
that.
and it's like nothing works, and it's kind of like glitches in the brain. And then you've got like, and you've got the kind of correlations between the Time Bandits themselves, who are just after material possessions, and like he's starting to realise that that's their thing too, that's their problem, because it's never really addressed, you know. So when he finds that out, that reality breaks as well. So it's like, you know, this kind of lifestyle's destroying him pretty much.
Because it's like when he's back in Greek times, it's like he's no bothered about the trinkets. He just wants to hang about with his dad, aka Sean Connery or whatever.
Yeah, big Agamemnon.
That's the one. So it's
big
like
Agadoo.
Agamemnon. Yeah, he likes to punch his wife and say in an interview that it's all right.
That's hellish, eh?
Sean Connery's a bad cunt.
He's a bad cunt and a half.
Sorry, right, what's next?
Sorry, Sean. This is entrapment. I like that bit at the end because it's very, very nightmare. Like Ken, that the kids game show Nightmare. It's very nightmare-y.
Where am I?
And I messages the other day and I was like, I've done a huge belly laugh at my favourite bit in the film, which is when one of the boys gets turned into a pig.
Oh,
and then he gets turned back for being a pig, and he goes, I was enjoying that. Which is fucking hilarious. Man, so
it's a good film for just wee missed lines, isn't it? Wee missed.
Yep. So good. I'm a reasonable man being like that. And then obviously your supreme being shows up at the end, and he's amazing too, because he's so like, he's an arse, but he's really gentlemanly about it.
So this guy who, like, I know that he was a big deal, like, because the way that Terry Gilliams was talking about him, he's like, this guy is a fucking hero.
Like, he looks like a toy maker. Doesn't he? It looks like a vintage toy maker. You're like, son, man.
Like, he makes an amazing cup of tea and a good cuddler.
But like, he's got a good line when it's like they're like, can we have our old job back? And he's like, you'll be in charge of like shrubberies and peanuts basically. And he's like, and I'll give you a 19% cut on salary for now until the end of time. And he's like, oh thanks man. He's like, I'm the nice one. Well, I am the nice one.
I do like that when Kevin's like, no, but why does evil have to exist? And he just wandered off and he's like, I think it has something to do with free will.
Come on. Aye. That's
Apparently,
really
do you know, is it Fidget that gets squashed?
Aye,
One of them
it's
gets
Fidget.
squashed. That was meant to be Sean Connery.
good. Ah,
He was meant to come
right.
back. He was meant to be in the final battle, basically.
Ah, right, okay.
Aye. Fun fact-
Fidget dying, like, when I first watched it, like, and Fidget
I
died,
was
I was
def-
actually like, oh, man.
I know, it definitely had more of an impact than...
I was like, God, man. Fidget, what a guy. We Kenny T. I love Kenny Baker, man. He's great in it, because he looks like he's a wee bit sauced.
It's the funny thing about, like, Time Bandits, there's something I'd never actually properly considered, but there's not many films where all the heroes are dwarfs. It's like
No?
their
Yep.
role in, I mean, obviously there's Willow as well, but that's the only two I can think of.
Aye.
the Ewoks films. Like
Well,
genuinely,
but that's them. Aye, it's like as Terry Gilliams said. It's like, you know, most of them are sort of acting inside costumes or fucking
yeah, you never
bins.
get to see them. A pedal bin. Aye, like there's he went on a wee bit about like how it was quite nice actually. He's like, these guys never get work and it's shite, you know, because it's like it's not normal guy roles. It's always they're like, you know, they're mythical beings, and although that's basically what they're cast as here, like these dwarfs, like they never get the chance to be actors, and you can tell that a few of them really go for it and are like making the most of it.
Aye.
And like it's
Wally.
a shame.
Wally's I love Wally,
Yeah,
man.
Wally
He's
was
my
really
favourite.
good.
Wally's
Aye,
my
well,
actual
he's
favourite.
fucking breaking his heart on scene. You're like, fucking yes. And it's nice to think that like a bunch of folk who would never have otherwise got the chance to do so had the chance to actually act.
Yeah.
You know, so watching that, seeing that on screen is quite nice.
And also, literally, the closest it comes to being acknowledged as a thing is when fucking David Warner calls one of them you silly little man.
Aye.
But,
Or
like, it's
Napoleon wants them because
Oh, yeah, well, no, yeah,
as
there's
well.
that as well, yeah, totally.
Because he's
But
obsessed with his height and that.
they'll
But
just get to be,
heroes.
yeah.
They get to be their own people. Like
Aye.
it doesn't like rip them, or it doesn't say like, "Hey, funny there."
Yeah.
It's just
that's-
like these are real,
Yeah, they're
real wee
heroes.
characters, man, and they're
But
dynamite.
that's the reason they couldn't get the film funding, because it was like,
Who would
everyone was
want
like,
to watch
nobody
that?
wants to watch dwarfs, basically.
Turns out they're all fucking amazing.
Aye.
Like Randall was the leader. He's a great leader.
Aye.
He's a good focal
David
point.
Rappaport.
Was that his name? David
Yeah, I've got it
Rappaport?
written down there.
Aye, nice. I know. I really like Randall. I like them all, to be honest. There's
Aye.
no like a bad one amongst them.
No, totally.
They're all great. But Wally's really good because he's like the kind of tough guy. But
Yep.
when Fidget dies, he's like goes off in one. And he's ready to start fighting every day, and he's great, man.
Have you heard the story about the ending?
What's that?
It's a
About
very
how-
Gilliam ending. I will
Aye,
say.
well, yeah, obviously the ending is like the parents getting blown up. It's like, it is, you watch it and you're like, I remember being a kid watching it and being like, oh god,
It's quite
oh,
horrible.
that's. But apparently, like, you know how, because Sean Connery comes back at the end, apparently that was his suggestion.
Who's
That he's
Sean
one of the
Connery's?
firemen.
Aye.
Ah,
But they shot I think he's only in like 2 shots or something. But they shot it before they even finished writing the scene. So they shot his 2 shots and then he fucked off and then they finished the rest of the scene.
right, okay.
There's a really, actually, see the last scene as it pulls out. Just something I really love about that. It's a tiny detail, but you notice that Kevin's walking funny, and that's because they filmed him walking in
backwards.
reverse.
'Cause I seen it
so
with the
the
smoke.
is
Yeah.
going in. Oh, I
Aye.
love wee details like that. But aye, so the parents blow up, and they basically they met heavy resistance with that, and it's like you can't kill the parents at the end. What? And Gilliam was trying to explain it. It's like, look, it means Kevin's free. He's free from all that bullshit, and it's actually a happy ending. But the interview again, the interview on the Arrow DVD is like he talks about how they're doing the test screenings with the cards. And he says we did this test screening in California, I think it was, and the sound there was a problem with the sound, and it was terrible. And nobody during the film was enjoying themselves. So apparently, in all the cards, like a lot of the cards that came out, Terry Gilliams says after you've collated that information, can I have a look at the cards? He took the cards home and he's reading them all, and everyone's being sarcastic on the cards. They say, "What's your favourite bit of the film?" The end. Then that data gets collated and put into a report. And it's like, actually, a lot of people said their favourite bit of the film was the end. And then it was like, and then it went through.
That's amazing.
But the bit, like, I think apparently, like.
Yeah, that's what you get for being cheeky cunts.
So so when they took it to America, basically they sold, like, they couldn't get anyone to pick it up. No distributors would pick it up, and they found like this company that was pretty much on its arse. Avco, I think it was called.
Right.
Okay.
I don't know them. Anyway,
Avco 54.
They were on their arse, and they were basically like, okay, we'll put the film out in November when there's nothing out because everyone's gearing up for the Christmas season, which must have been what they were doing at the time because I don't think that happens now. But and like they were like, we'll put it out in November when there's nothing else out, and then Gilliam had input on the marketing because they're talking about Time Bandits being a film for everyone.
Aye.
And he had a bit of a fight with the marketing because he was like, right, this is what we'll do. We'll in this slot here, we'll make a promo for kids.
Mm-hmm.
During the Saturday Night Live spot, we'll do a Monty Python type promo. And he was like basically breaking up the marketing to target different audiences.
Okay. Actually,
And
clever.
then the film pulled in $45 million
That's pretty good.
for a film that's made for
$5
$5 million.
million.
Absolutely ridiculous. I think it's still his most successful film to date. Aye.
That's amazing.
That's good.
Considering how big Fear and Loathing is, but then again,
I think
It's
probably in
probably
terms
home
of
video. Probably
ratio,
home
if
video.
we're talking about success, we're talking about the ratio, how much went into how much came back.
right, okay.
But aye,
Big revenue.
Even then, Fear and Loathing wasn't as big as it was probably in home
No, I
video.
think it's more of a it's kind of gained more of a cult status because people talk about it a lot, but I don't think it like I get banked as much.
You seen that Fear and Loathing, man? There's like fucking lizards and Hawaii tops, man. It's fucking mental. Shite.
I did a. It's like
Never get an end.
having pals like that, like that just love something because it involved drugs.
Aye. That's why Human Traffic is so successful. Split politics, man. Mind that.
Yep.
Anti-funny. Guff.
So Time Bandits, yeah.
It's a good. I agree.
And just
it's
it's
a full
general
winter
like
warmer.
it's general aesthetic, like kind of after you've watched the film, like you obviously kind of mind every single bit, but it just you get like a wee parallel, a general aesthetic of it in your mind.
Aye.
The general aesthetic of Time Bandits is one it's really British as well, so it's something that you kind of identify with, like
Yeah.
the stock, the actors, the way it looks, the way it sounds. There's something there that you
just
know
like
and feel.
That kick from Michael Palin and the humour and the
Aye,
it's
aye.
just
So it's like all of that, but it's just like it just stays in this really kind of warmish feeling, and it's something that that makes you feel like wintry. It makes
Aye.
you feel cozy in that
Yep.
without being.
It reminds you.
Is there much? I don't think there's snow in it, is there? There's no snow or
no,
there's no
no.
Christmas or that, but
Yep.
it's just got that just aura about it.
Yep.
Aye.
It's really nice.
I think it reminds you of like so many other things as well that
Aye.
like growing up that kind of ties into things like
like Legend and Lady Hawk and all that
Aye.
sort of stuff.
But then you've got like for some like all the henchmen, Evil's henchmen and stuff reminds me of things like Maid Marian and
Aye.
just stuff like and obviously the Woods and it reminds you of other films and just
Crawl and all that.
loads of stuff that you just loved growing up. I think it's
Aye.
big. It's a good one.
And so when you were, excuse me, when you were going through your winter warmers, did you find it hard to settle on one, or was this like did you get a list of 5, or did you just go for it? Right, this is it.
I knew I wanted to do a fantasy. Like it's just the fantasy is my top for winter. And then I was going through what are my favourite fantasies, and yeah, it was Time Bandits. It just sort of zoned in on Time Bandits,
Right.
basically. So yeah, I don't think it wasn't too difficult. Came out pretty quickly.
No, sound. Have you got any other ones there that you were also considering or also had as a wee top 5 winter warmer?
Yeah, winter warmer. Okay, let me think about
If you've
winter
got
warmers. Aye, no.
If you've got any line about.
Any got to spare, mate?
Well, again, like
spare that Christmas spirit. I've got fuck all. I've got fuck all Christmas spirit. You got any in the back there?
Can't get myself out of bed.
it's funny. It's like obviously the again. Okay, so you've got your fantasy ones that I mentioned at the beginning. Like I used to watch like Labyrinth every year.
Oh man, I don't like Labyrinth.
Really?
I really don't like it.
I
at
never
all.
really had Labyrinth in my
Same with
house.
Dark Crystal. I don't.
Dark Crystal I had
Dark-
all the time.
No.
I watched
yeah,
that
I
a
tried to
lot.
watch. I only actually saw Dark Crystal recently, and I wasn't overly
I really
enthralled
don't like
by
it. It's too,
But
it's
I-
too bleak, man.
Yeah.
Ah, exactly.
Really,
So
Have you
bit-
seen the
No.
Have you seen the rushes of when they wanted all what do you call the big bad
The big
birds?
fucking-
Foxes.
They wanted them to be speaking a different
A
made
different
up
language.
language.
Yep, it was
That's
going to be
Chris.
almost
It's-
entirely subtitled.
That's-
And initially,
Aye,
mental.
that's amazing.
Horrid.
Like yeah, and again like films like Neverending Story, Again, just those, and Krull. Obviously, Krull's a big one.
The
Krull
visuals.
feels cold. You can smell the crisp air. Like you can smell you can feel the bite
Aye.
in the air when you watch it.
Totally.
It's lovely.
It's good, man.
Um,
And the visuals in that. See when like she's trapped inside the giant.
Aye.
That scene running through the eye.
That. Oh,
Whoa.
she just-
Beautiful.
Horses on fire and everything.
Fucking running so fast, their hooves are on fire.
You're who?
The hooves are on fire.
And then you got your obvious ones like, you know, your Back to the Futures, your Indiana Jones, your Star Wars. I mean, it's like total cliches, but they're
Huge.
there for a reason.
Yep.
What was the other one I was going to say?
Jurassic Park as well.
Yep.
Massive.
Just all those ones that are on at Christmas.
No Harry Potter. Although folk will probably be Harry Potter. Like for us, it's not Harry Potter.
Yeah. So
But see,
for a lot
young
of folk, it's going to be
generation,
Lord
it'll
of the Rings, Harry Potter, and like I think they're the new generation stuff. Probably even like on top of that, like the Peter Jackson thing, like King
Lovely
Kong
Bones.
and things like
I do. I
Brain Dead. Christmas Eve.
Let's stick on Lovely Bones. Fuck. Let's stick on Prisoners.
those,
It's cold. It's snowy. It's snowy.
Aye, totally,
Prisoners.
and then you've got, you know, a tradition for me for so long before I finally got them in video was because there was one on every year, but picking up the TV guide and being like, right, what Star Trek films on the telly this year?
Oh yeah, Star Trek, man.
And I think probably a clash between 3 and 4 would be the most
Nice.
wintry ones, I think, but probably 3.
Yeah.
Closest to 3, I think. Animated stuff like a wee Asterix film on New Year's Day.
Aye.
Was the,
See, like
Nice.
Don Bluth, his films
Yes,
are more
I was about to
Christmassy
say-
than Disney.
aye.
Like I never
Definitely.
really Disney's not been a big like I love a lot of Disney films and that, but it's always been Don Bluth for some reason. Like
Well, like Five-O. Was Five-O done?
Five-O,
Aye.
Land Before Time, all that.
Nymph. Secret of Nymph. Secrets
Aye,
of Nymph.
Secrets
Nim.
Nim.
What?
Not nymph.
Secret. I think that's
That's one of your guys' videos. You got that free
Yeah,
Max
totally.
Power.
just him on top of a car bonnet. Like,
There's aye.
we're back, a dinosaur story as well. Ambling ones basically.
What's,
Ambling ones.
what's that? What's that one with the dinosaurs? Land Before Time. Did you say
Land
Land
Before Time.
I
That's
said,
him. Aye.
I fucking hate them. How many is there? Like
Like
6?
6 or 7 now. Aye. The first one's magic. That's very, very sad.
Did they all die in the first one?
I'm not telling you that you need to watch it.
Everyone's
Can't mind. I used to watch it with
everyone's
my
a
neighbour.
prequel to
No,
one
there's-
before.
Aye. I mean, technically, aye. They definitely all
God, it's
die in
guy hot today. So all normal, big man.
Finally, I think my final ones would be like Studio Ghibli
Ah, right,
stuff.
okay.
Those are
Yeah.
those are heavy, like, especially the ones that are again geared towards fantasy. Like your Nausicaa's a big one for me. Just
That was the
because-
one we watched at your
We watched, like specifically as well because they do really good English dubs. So like Nausicaa's got this. Nausicaa's a big one for me because it's got that 80s animation style.
Yes.
So I was again, me and Owen were talking about this the other day, but I was saying to him, it's like it reminds me of the cartoons. It makes me feel nostalgic for the cartoons that I watched as a kid, but it's really well animated. So it's like the way that you think those cartoons were, this film actually is, and the
It's-
sound
aye.
design. And then it's got an English cast of like Mark Hamill, Edward James Olmos, Uma Thurman, Patrick Stewart.
Is Liam Neeson? No, is that
He's
not?
that's
in one.
Ponyo.
Ponyo,
Oh, that's right.
He's a guy that comes out the sea.
but Nausicaa's good because it's just got that sort of the way that Ghibli films do that nice kind of windy valleys and the swaying grass.
Klonoa kind of feel.
Aye.
It's very, very, very relaxing as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
It's not like like high action. It's not like Akira. It's like
It's like
just gouge out in front of Nausicaa.
I know. I think I lasted maybe 20 minutes there.
Oh, I was away.
I
I was away. There was a
getting
wee candle,
snores.
a candle lit and everything. I was like, oh man.
I think
I was
Yeah.
good. Aye, so like a couple of years ago, we all got together then up at Richie's and watched a bunch of films. And funnily enough, I was like, we're all like, right, let's watch Winter Warmers, right? We all picked one each. What was yours again? What did you pick?
Sudden Death, perhaps? Was it? Or was it Die Hard 2? Or
No, it's Die Hard 2.
Die Hard
It's
2,
Die Hard
yeah.
2.
Die Hard 2.
Aye. So I thought, right, a nice winter warmer. The boys haven't seen it. Beautiful Girls.
Oh.
And it was rank fucking wrong. And I was so fucking annoyed too, because I loved that so much, but I had that like quality where I hadn't watched it for years, and I loved it when I was wee because I idolised all these people, but these guys were cool. They all live at home.
And
They're all their pals, and they all drink in the same pub that they drank growing up in.
And they're all
It's
like broody and like they're all like kind of like, oh man, everyone's kind of sucky. It's like, you're right, buddy. You're right.
And they had that weird thing where the main character fancied Natalie Portman.
Who was 13?
Who was 13.
Yeah,
but it was
that's
kind of done in this
fucking
weird kind of...
She's actually mature.
romanticizing they were trying to justify it. It was like, what's
They're like,
this?
she's emotionally mature. It's like, the
She's-
judge will not
Aye.
listen.
Neither will or die.
When he's wailing on you with a bat. Your
I
Honour,
know.
you spoke to her. She's emotionally 17.
I know.
Even the
And then
judge
like
gets
finding
all
out the
licking.
guy that scripted thinks they're doing everything when you're dead. Opening scene there, pedo outside of primary school, and then Con Air, guy's a pedo in it. There's a train.
It's like the fucking MDK killer sending the police letters like, you'll never get me. That's what he's
Fucking wet
doing.
bandits.
I'm a pedo, you thick cunts. Very nice.
Next film, the pedo that saved the world.
The pedo that wrote a film. Right, so I've got our usual. We've got keyword roundup for
Oh yes.
Yes.
Time Bandits.
Right.
So keyword roundup, if anybody's a new listener, is we go on IMDb and I usually find the top sort of 10 best keywords relating to the film that we've just spoke about. So this is the top 10 keywords for Time Bandits. Toga, British Renaissance, theft,
God, that must be a massive.
microwave oven, steampunk.
Oh.
Oh.
I didn't like the film anyway. Titanic, bad parents, puppet show, lifting someone into the air, and number 10, lifting an adult into the air. So there you go.
That's good.
There's your keyword roundup for
Lifting
Time
something into
Bandits.
there. What the fuck?
I don't know.
Lion King.
Well,
It's good.
thank you, all of us. Thank you to all of us.
Thank you, all of us.
Thank you, all of us.
Thanks. Only thank you to Finlay and Richie and Harry.
We hope you've enjoyed our first part 1 of Winter Warmers.
Yeah,
Hopefully you'll go away and watch a wee Winter Warmer yourself.
I know. Hopefully you've already watched Time Bandits, because if not, then we've literally spoiled the
Fucked it
full
for you.
fucking shebang for you. There's
Totally.
nothing to know. There's no mystery to it anymore.
Aye, you might as well put that commentary on. Thanks for listening. We love yous and enjoy the wee break you've got between this and the next one.
Aye.
Aye. I don't know what's the release approach. Is it just scattershot, or is it when we feel like it?
I hope we can get them all out before Christmas. We'll cut this out.
Aye.
Aye. And if you want to find us, we're on Twitter at Video Namaste, so come and pester us.
Yeah.
Right, okay, I'll see you later.
Right.
Bye.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.